Tired of serving up the same old tasteless victuals to your family? Step up your grill game with new seasonings from Coy's Southern Eats. Based off famous Southern recipes, our seasonings will add what's been missing to your family's feast. Add it to steak, chicken, shrimp, you name it. Serving up these fixings is going to make you the hero at home. So head on over to CoysSouthernEats.com and order yours today. Come get you some.
And everybody, welcome to the Razorback Football Report with Otis Kirk. My name is Jason Patterson. I'm your host today, and I want to thank Coy's Southern Eats, our sponsor, and also make sure to go check out all of their great products for any of your barbecues or your tailgates, and go re-experience the magic of Coy's and come get you some. You can also find them at CoysEats.com, also at Walmart.com and Amazon.com. Otis, how's it going, my man?
Hey, man. Anything going on? I don't know.
No, I'm watching a great ball game right now. The Ravens and the Browns. The Ravens coughed one up there. And I thought the Browns were going to tie it, and they biffed the kick. So.
Is that what happened? I've got it too. Yeah, the Ravens. I thought we were going to blow them out there for a while. Yeah,
I did too. They were up 2 scores with 8 minutes left, and now all of a sudden it's a 1-point game with 5:08 left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a Razorback game yesterday.
Yeah, there was. It wasn't pretty either. It was ugly. I'll tell you what. I've been told there's been a decision made on Sam. It may not be announced officially today, but I've been told there has been a decision made on his future at Arkansas. Nothing's official. Nothing's been made official. Let me put it that way. I'm going to say nothing's official, but nothing's been made official. But I have been told by a very, very, very good source, that it has been made. And it's not, nothing's surprising anymore, but We'll see how I don't know when. Told by a different source it won't be announced today, so anyway,
I talked about it yesterday in my story after you and I talked about kind of what to write for Pig Trail Nation and Hogville, and you can't go scoring 3 field goals in 8 quarters and at home, not on the road, at home. No touchdowns, and then you get whipped 48-10 at home by Auburn, and not only whipped, it didn't look competitive yesterday.
1 week after they had their best game of the season. Yeah. I asked Sam yesterday, and it's a big mystery to me. It's not a mystery. It's a big mystery to me why this team's so bad at home. When I pick schedules, when I pick records, predict records, start the season, I look at schedules. I put more emphasis on schedule than most people do. That's why I said a lot of people talk about Ole Miss would do this and that. I said they're going to be hard pressed to do that because they've got to go to Alabama and Georgia. No other SEC West team had to do that. And sure enough, they lost both of them. And they may not lose anything else, but they did lose both of them. But that put them behind the 8 ball right off. But I looked at Arkansas's schedule, and I thought the 4 best teams they were going to play were all away. A&M. Now, remember, this is preseason. A&M, Alabama, LSU, and Ole Miss, and even Florida. You know, I thought, well, that's probably the 5 best teams they're going to play, and not you know. So I looked at the teams they had coming into Fayetteville. You know, the 4 non-conference games. You had Mississippi State, you had Auburn, you had Missouri. Now, as it turns out, Missouri's a lot better than I would say a lot better than I thought in preseason. But even at that, Mississippi State's not very good. Auburn, I just felt like they could win the 7 home games. I said that on here and everywhere else, and still won between. I said they would lose to LSU and Alabama. I felt like they could still won between between Ole Miss, A&M, and Florida. That was my prediction, and they did with Florida.
Yeah,
they didn't win their 7 home games. They didn't come close. The 4 games in Fayetteville, they laid an egg, and that counts the Kent State win. I mean, that was ugly. That was a
28-6, and really it was 14-6 up until some point in the second half there in the third quarter.
That was with Antonio Greer with a pick 6.
Yeah,
wasn't even an offensive touchdown. That was an ugly game. That team was not any good. Then Arkansas got beat by BYU.
Yeah,
we know what happened against Mississippi State, and then of course anyone that sat through that yesterday knows. So it's just the last 2 games though in Fayetteville have been extremely ugly. Mississippi State and Auburn, and you just can't lose like that, and you just can't do it. You lose everything when you do that. It's just it's I mean it's just when you do that, that's what happens, and so
Drake and I were talking last night, and Auburn and Arkansas's away games mirrored themselves damn near identically. Instead of Alabama, they had Georgia, but they all still had Ole Miss, they had A&M, and they also had LSU, all on the road on a 4-game stretch, mind you. Both teams lost all 4 games in a row, and then after last week led me to believe that this was going to be an extremely competitive game. I almost thought it was going to go into overtime because of the way that both of these teams kind of lined up with each other. The mobile quarterbacks being able to possibly stop the run. And yesterday, I don't know what happened to both sides of the edge on the line of scrimmage, but Arkansas just could not stop.
I suspected Freeze would look at the tape from Florida game and have some answers for Kenny. Plus, Liberty's defense last year gave Arkansas's offensive line fits. So that did not surprise me that much that they struggled some on offense. I didn't expect them to that much, but I did. I expected some struggles, but boy, the defense just didn't show up at all yesterday. And other than the second half of the LSU game, and I'm telling you, man, that quarterback, Jaden Daniels, can make any defense look average. I mean, that guy's a stud.
He's so good.
He can make any defense look average. So I didn't really hold that second half at LSU against Arkansas too much. They had a breakdown there against Florida when they went on go. I think Arkansas got the lead, and they let them go 3 plays, like 70-something yards, maybe 3 or 4 plays. But still, even at that, you felt like the defense played well enough to give them a win chance at Florida. So I just look, man, I just didn't see the egg that they laid yesterday coming. I mean, 21-0. No more had you settled into your seats in the stands, so it was 21-0, 14 especially. The first drive, touchdown, punt return for a touchdown. Then 21-0, and you can still come back. I mean, Arkansas jumped on Florida 14-0 the week before, and Florida fought back. But I didn't see any fight from Arkansas yesterday. It was the worst tackling by the defense I've seen all season.
To date,
all season, and it not even close. I mean, they made. I'm not saying that. I shouldn't say they made no effort to tackle. The tackling was piss poor. I mean, it looked like a lack of effort, but I'm sure they were trying. But it just, I don't know what. I mean,
I looked at Dudley at one point, and I said,
I asked Sam, Jason, after the game. I said, what
Yeah.
happened to you guys at home, man? And he didn't know. I mean, I'm sure if he knew,
He'd tell you.
he
Yeah.
would have solved it, you know. I
Yeah.
didn't, but I was hoping he had some kind of answer to that because I just can't put my finger on it. I just, you know, and people get mad at Sam for saying they don't know, but I mean, I'm sure he didn't, or he would have fixed it. It wouldn't have kept happening week after week after week. I mean,
Yeah.
especially after that disaster against Mississippi State. You know,
can't fix what you don't know what you need to fix.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. Like I said, the offense. So it didn't surprise me that Florida came after. I mean, Auburn came after them a little bit because, like I said, Freeze's defense gave Arkansas fits last year at Liberty, and plus he had tape on Kenny that Florida didn't have. So that didn't surprise me that much. Maybe to the degree they stopped Arkansas, but I expected a little bit of struggling. But man, I did not see the defense, I didn't see the defense or the offense just being that bad. It wasn't a pretty sight. It was ugly, and they've got 2 more disasters to play this season. You got Saturday night, 6:30. Man, you wish that was 11 o'clock game. I mean,
oh my God, that's the first thing I thought driving home last night after after I got out of the car. I was like,
it's just 6:30 at night, and Missouri's at 3. Mercifully will end this season at the Missouri game. It will mercifully end this. It's been a bad season, man. I just didn't see it coming. I really thought 8-4. I thought 7-5 was the floor. I just felt like they would win these home games, and even if they slipped up on one, if they slipped up with Auburn,
they could still recover other places.
I felt like they would still won somewhere else, which they did with Florida, Jason. I just didn't see. I mean, this was not. I'll be honest with you. This was not a vintage SEC schedule they played. I mean, by SEC standards, this wasn't the toughest schedule. I mean,
no.
I mean, those teams are good, but just one of those years, man. It's been bad. When we left Dallas, I asked John. I said, "Man, why can't it just amazes me that we can't have a good football season here at Arkansas hardly." I mean, and I'm not asking for 12-0 playoffs. I mean, that'd be great, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 9-3, 8-4 without all the drama. It just it just doesn't happen hardly. I mean, 2 years ago, Sam went 8-4 and then won the bowl game. But boy, it just doesn't happen very often. It's just, I mean, you had 3 years of Sam. You had 2 years of Chad Morris, and the last couple of years of Brett Bielema. It's just been a disaster.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, you can even throw in John L. Smith if you want to, for that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what got this whole thing. What got this whole thing started was Jeff Long not promoting, but bringing in an interim coach, John L. Smith, when he fired Bobby, and that got this started, and then he goes and hires Brett. The love letter Brett wrote him about firing Bobby, and and so it's just been one on top of another, man. I mean, it's just been, and that's what gets you in these binds is bad hires, and that's with the early signing period coming up, December the 20th to the 22nd. Arkansas is going to have to make a good hire because you can't change coaches every couple of years and compete in football because the early signing period, most of the good high school players are going to sign somewhere that early, and then they're going to sign early, and so you can't really get that many in February. You can get some, but you won't get that many, and you're going to have to fill up with portal kids. So you've got to make sure you get the right football coach and don't have to do this every 2 or 3 years because you can't afford that with the early signing period.
No, you can't. And one of the things that I noticed yesterday, I looked over at Dudley and I asked him, I said, are they playing 8 on 11 out there on defense? Because that's what it looked like. It looked like Auburn had 2 hats for every hog that they were coming into contact with. And that's neither here nor there now. But I want to throw up a quick comment here. One of the Facebook folks from Facebook said, in my opinion, it all changed when Sam when he hired his new agent. Now I'm gonna I'm not going to say it's because of that. Whenever we were on here this summer, one of the things, Otis, that I talked to you about and I said was this is a transition year for Sam because it lined up a lot with what happened with that Ogeron down at LSU. He had all of his assistants leave after Burrow and all those guys left after the national championship. It was going to be predicated, his job situation was predicated on the next hires that he made. And it really fizzled out for him that last year. And I feel like that is the same way with Sam. Now we've seen what happened with, Dan Enos and then the offense and now the defense. And you can't sit there and put your finger on exactly one thing. But I feel like since those hires, since that hire was brought in, it just kind of was like the crack in the dam that started the flood.
Yeah, it's just, to me, the whole thing about this season has just been the home games, man.
Yeah.
It's been home games, and it's just been home games. It's been a disaster, and God knows it wasn't the fans. They've turned out.
Nope.
That was a good crowd yesterday.
It was the best 3 and 6 crowd I've ever saw.
Yeah, it's a good crowd yesterday. It's been a good crowd all season. Can't blame the crowd. Good crowd in Little Rock. Good crowd in Fayetteville. It's just, but
I was listening yesterday.
I'll be surprised if there's very many there Saturday, but the next Saturday and Friday. But I'm just saying, whatever, the season's gone. I mean, it's a wash.
Yeah, it is. And I was listening to Phil Ellison coming in, and he had Rick Schaefer. Rick Schaefer said this best. He said, this crowd deserved their best performance of the season because the crowd kept turning out time and time and time again. And the crowd was deserved this because of the way that they have shown up, like you just said, and then they turn around and then this happens. There's no incentive to spend money on fuel, food, hotel, cheap tickets now. Before it was bloated tickets. Now it's cheap tickets. I was looking, Drake looked on there last night at a site, and you were able to score nosebleeds for $4 a shot. Down below was 20. And I other than maybe some local crowd around here, extremely faithful folks down in Central and South Arkansas, maybe Northeast Arkansas. I just don't see the crowd showing up when they know that, kind of hazing the barn at this point.
Yeah. No, like I said, the season's basically a wash. I mean, there'll probably be a few more. I don't know. I mean, Black Friday, you've got Senior Day.
Yeah.
You'll have Senior Day. So there'll be that. And then, it's a holiday weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. So people may be gone. And then Saturday night, whatever. I mean, the crowd's the least of their worries right now. I mean, they're going to have to regroup, when this is officially announced, they'll have to regroup. And like I said, the main thing with Hunter right now is when this is official, if this goes official, he needs to make sure he makes the right hire because you cannot miss on this hire. This is the program is riding on it. I mean, it's been down for a while. And it's been one bad hire. And I'm not saying Sam was a bad hire, but it was leading up. John L. was, Brett was, Chad was. I think Sam was a bad hire. I just think that I think Sam was hired because of 3 bad hires in a row. No one wanted the job, Jason. That's why Sam wasn't their first pick. I mean, they're like, I saw a post
5 or 6
last night. Hire Drinkowitz. People they tried to hire Drinkowitz. They sent a plane for him. He turned them down and went to Missouri. I mean, it's not that simple. People hire this guy, hire that guy. It's not that simple.
Lane Kiffin was almost in the bag
in 3 years in the SEC when Sam came here. Nobody wanted that job. I'm not saying it's a job that nobody will take, people get all mad when you say that. I'm saying at that time, Sam was not the first choice. He wasn't the second or third choice. He was down the list. Several people turned it down. And what they're going to have to do, they're going to have to pay more money.
Yeah.
And they're going to but it's more attractive job now. I mean, they went 3-7.
Incredibly more.
9-4 the second, 7-6 last year. Won 2 bowl games in a row. Yes, this season's a tank. But even you look at this season. They went to Alabama, they went to LSU, they went to Ole Miss and played those teams off their feet, you know. So, I mean, it's not like you can't compete here. I mean, I saw Houston Nutt and Bobby Petrino in 14 years go to 11 bowl games. I saw that in 14 years, 11 bowl games. And I'm not talking about necessarily the Liberty Bowl. I'm talking about the Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, the Outback, not the Outback, but the bowl game in Orlando, whatever it was called, a Citrus Bowl. I think it wasn't. I think it's Capital One, maybe another year. It changed names, but it was 2. They went to Orlando twice. Houston did. So Bobby went to the Sugar Bowl. They've gone to various Cotton Bowls, both of them.
Milk Bowl.
I mean, they went to some good bowl games in 14 years. So it's not like, you know, they went to Nashville, they went to Memphis, but. You know, they went to some good bowl games. Houston went to 2 SEC championship games. So it's not impossible. And
no, it's not at all.
But they're going to have to pay more money. And the boosters that do that, the big money boosters, might as well get prepared. They're going to have to pay more.
Yeah.
I think they paid Sam like $3 million when they hired him. But you're not getting a football coach for $3 million. That's not going to happen. You better start thinking more along the lines of 7 to 10, somewhere between 7 and 10. If you want to turn this thing around, that's what you're going to have to pay to get a coach. And
they're going to have to make a solid investment into the next coach.
And then
because if they don't, they're going to keep getting the same what they have now.
To pay a head coach, you've got to give him money for his staff as well.
Yeah.
It's got to be SEC competitive. You're going to get what you pay for. And, if you got to know that going in.
If you got a head coach between 7 and 10, you're still looking at investing a solid $6 million at least in assistants, and so it's not out of the realm of possibility that they have to turn around and pay Sam 16, roughly right around. That's the 75% buyout of his contract.
Wow.
They're going to have to reinvest that much into the next staff as well, and if they don't. They're like you said, they're going to keep getting the same. And
you get what you pay for.
Last time I checked, you don't want to be Vanderbilt.
And here's some people mistaken on this contract buyout deal with Sam. They talk about he has a losing record. When they went 9-4 in year 2, they threw out the 3-7 when they renegotiated the contract. So the 3-7 the first year does not count on his record. So you've got 9-4, 7-6. 3-7 is what you've got. Whatever that amounts to, 9-4, 7-6, 3-7. That's what you're looking at. That's 19-17. That's 19
500.
So if you 19-17 is what Sam's record is, and even if you lose the next 2 games, he's going to be 19-19. He's not going to have a losing record. That's and when if he doesn't coach those 2 games, then he's 19-17. So he did not have a losing record. You've got to forget that first year. They threw that out when they redid the contract. They reset the contract. So people talking about
that was pretty fair too.
Huh?
That was pretty fair too, because he had a lot of deficiencies in the locker room as far as personnel goes. And then you also add in COVID, and you of all people know exactly how bad the recruiting process was at that point.
Yeah.
And
he did an incredible job going 9-4 that second year. I have no problem with. Look, man, I have no problem with people getting more. I don't understand why you would pay a coach $76.5 million buyout. To me, that's incompetence, because nobody, and I mean nobody, was going to pay Jimbo Fisher that kind of buyout. To pay him, if you want to pay him $10 million a year or something, that's fine. But man, don't don't bid against yourself. That to me was stupidity on A&M's part to give Jimbo a contract like that because nobody else was going to. So what it amounts to, you're bidding against yourself, Jason, and that's not good business in this day and age. And
because Jimmy Sexton will make you pay.
Well, he did, and he was smart enough. Sexton was smart enough when Sam hired him to get that 3 and 7 thrown out. And so if times did get hard, Sam was going to be, and for the people saying, well, Sam truly loved Arkansas, he would give up the $16 million. Look, ask yourself when you say that, when you put that on Facebook or Twitter, ask yourself, would you do that? Would you do that?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you wouldn't do it yourself. And you're sitting there, you want someone else to do what you wouldn't do. And no, the Lane Kiffin deal there's more to that than That was he lied about. He and Sexton flat out lied to him about having an offer to Arkansas.
Yep.
I mean, from Ole Miss, a counter offer, and they got caught in the lie. There's more to that than That I'm talking to somebody that's putting something on here.
Yeah. It says, well, why do you all think A&M canned Jimbo so early to get ahead of the top coaches? Yeah,
they didn't hire the guy to be 7-4 and 8-4. I mean, they were paying Kevin Sumlin a lot less money, and he had the same record or better than Jimbo. I mean,
he had 2 more wins than Kevin Sumlin did to this point in his career at A&M.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying how many more wins? 2.
That's it.
So that's going to cost you $37.5 million per win. For those 2 wins is what it's going to cost you. $37.5 million. That's why I said that's incompetence. That's complete incompetence. And I mean, they fired him because they were getting the same thing from him they were getting for Kevin Sumlin at a whole lot less money. I mean, Kevin was doing just as well as Jimbo and for a lot less money. So I mean, people. So I mean, that's why that happened. It was just why they did it right now. That's been coming for a while. I can't tell you why they did it today or made the decision after a win instead of after a loss. But the win had nothing to do with it. I mean, they knew they were going to be. It was just a fact that I think A&M knew it was coming. And I'm sure part of it is what the poster asked, was it to get ahead of the game? Yeah, because you've got Arkansas with Pittman, you've got Florida may fire Billy Napier, Mississippi State may fire Arnett.
Yeah.
I'm not an insider in any of those programs. I'm just telling you what I think could happen. That's all I'm telling you. That's only in the SEC.
And that's what I've been hearing too.
I mean, but common sense would tell you Napier's on ice. Arnett's on ice at Mississippi State. Jimbo gone. Pittman, So I mean, that's only the SEC. Then you start. I know Boise State. It wouldn't surprise me to see them try to get back with the coach that left for Auburn, to get back because he had a lot of success there at Boise, and he's actually a fit for that program. He's not really a fit in the SEC, but if he would go back to Boise, that would be a good for them.
Success.
For whatever that amounts to, but guys like Gus Malzahn, Mike Elko, their names are getting ready to get called. Mike Elko, Gus Malzahn, Dan Lanning. A&M, I'm sure will make a run at him. I don't think he'll go there, but that would be a guy that I think they would make a run at. Lane Kiffin, somebody brought up Lane Kiffin, Malzahn, Mike Elko at Duke. Dan Lanning at Oregon. Those are going to be names you hear. Like Brian Kelly went to LSU. It would not surprise me that, and I'm not saying Arkansas, but it would not surprise me if one of these schools pulled off a hire that nobody saw coming. Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame to go to LSU.
Because you never thought that he had left Notre Dame.
I certainly didn't see,
You never thought he would have left Notre Dame,
right?
Honestly.
And so it would not surprise me. I mean, I threw out those names that everybody knows, like Elko and Kiffin and Malzahn and Lanning and stuff like that. And those are good coaches. But I'm just saying, I think somebody and it could be Dan Lanning. I mean, somebody's going to make a hire that you think, man, I didn't think he'd leave there for there. And if A&M threw enough at Dan Lanning, he might do it. I mean, I don't know Dan Lanning. I mean, I know he's a good coach. I know he was a coordinator at Georgia. I know he's done a good job at Oregon. So I don't know what he would do, but I'm just saying, I do think that I know the word out here is A&M's looking hard at Elko and Kiffin. And that's a common sense. I mean, that makes sense. But I've got a feeling they'll throw a feeler at Lanning just to see. And when I say all this stuff, I don't know what these guys' buyouts are right now. I'm sure Malzahn's at UCF. I know he just signed a new contract, but I don't think their buyouts anything like. I mean, they're not going to be a buyout like Jimbo had at A&M. That was crazy, man.
That's a one and done type thing too. That's something you probably will never see again either.
Well, you shouldn't. I mean, that AD. I mean, you give a guy. You're bidding.
That's monopoly money.
I know I've repeated that 100 times, but that's what it is. You're just simply bidding against yourself when you do that. You don't. And like I said, people bitch about these coaches making all this money. I have no problem with the yearly pay. I've got zero issue with the guy getting whatever he gets, but to give him that kind of buyout's just crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to get your guys' comments on here, and I was expecting a good turnout today. I was not expecting this many people. I want to thank you guys first off for coming on. Listen to Otis and I, spew our sentiments today. We're talking about the Razorback situation and A&M and all this other, and I cannot get all the comments on today. Now, usually I can. Today is just not one of those days. You guys have been extremely, extremely talkative. We appreciate that. It helps us. It really helps us.
I love to see the comments up there. I love them. I don't know. I mean, I may not agree with them, that doesn't matter. But whether I agree with them or not, I mean, I'm sure they don't agree with me. That's not a requirement on here that you have to put up something that I agree with or Jay agrees with. I mean, hell, 5 minutes after I say something, I may not agree with it myself.
I can talk myself out of all sorts of stuff. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but no, I appreciate everybody coming on here. But there's been a decision made. I'll just say it. There's been a decision made on Sam Pittman, and I'm hearing it may not be announced officially today. But there has been a decision made, and it will be announced. And at some point, I'm sure, as Jason pointed out earlier, I think it may have been off the air, but they'll have to announce something for his 12 o'clock press conference tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now there could be a deal where they go to Sam and they fire him, but he could possibly coach the last 2 games. That's not. Yeah. That has happened.
I'm
not saying it will or it won't, but I'm just saying it's possible. You could just say, hey, we're not retaining you, but if you want to coach the last 2 games, because they're already shorthanded. On-field coach.
I like this one.
Yeah.
I like this one, Otis.
He is, but then again, you know what? The guy's good at his job. It's kind of like Scott Boras with baseball, man. The guy is, I mean, Boras, it's easy to hate the guy and cuss him, but then again, he's good at what he does, and he gets those guys bucks. But Sexton plays people. I mean, he got involved in that Lane Kiffin and Arkansas deal, and that's why one reason Lane didn't come here, because he just flat out, there was some crap went on behind the scenes there, and I know what it was, and it wasn't pretty, man. And that's why I don't know that. That's why I'm not going to say I don't know that I'm going to bring up Lane Kiffin's name with Arkansas. It may have, and I actually like Lane. But I mean, the deal that happened with Juracek, Sexton, and Lane, I don't know that. I don't look for that to be the next coach at Arkansas. Now, if it is, that's fine, because I actually like Lane. I really do. I think he's great, man. He gets on Twitter, and he wins Twitter. I mean, he puts some shots. I love his offense. Yeah. He hits the portal hard. I like the guy. I'd have zero issues with Lane Kiffin. But knowing what I know happened in 2019, I don't see it. But hey, time heals a lot of things, man. Maybe it healed this.
Okay. Yeah, you never know. One of the reasons, and I want to bring this up really quick too, because I know that we talked about Dan Lanning, and a lot of folks that I've heard have questioned why Dan Lanning would leave Oregon. Well, there's a few reasons why. One, getting back into the SEC because this is where he started. 2, he's got Bo Nix that's going to be leaving after his 9th year at in competing at the collegiate level. You also have Oregon that's going to be moving to the Big Ten. Now they're going to be even with Washington, possibly. You also are competing with USC, UCLA, Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State. There is no way that Dan Lanning is going to want to compete with all those guys, even though he's got Phil Knight money. It's going to be really hard for him to compete and not be one of the best 7 instead of one of the best 3 like he is at Oregon.
Yeah, I don't look for him to be in the mix at Arkansas, but I do look for him to possibly be in the mix at A&M, but he may not. But I just think with A&M's money and their gusto for a name guy like Jimbo, I think they may.
This is interesting. Nate Tucker, would U of A fire or let Sam Pittman retire from coaching, but retain him as an ambassador fundraiser to mitigate some buyout?
That would be up to Sam and them. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think Sam will. I mean, I don't know. I mean, anything's possible, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they have negotiated. I mean, like I said, there's been a decision made over there. They may deny it, but there has been a decision made. I do know that. There's been a decision made on Sam. And when it's announced officially, that's anybody's guess. And I've been told it. If I wasn't told, but a coworker was told it won't be today. So that would mean they're going to have to do something. Then expect something in the morning. If not today or tonight, then expect something in the morning because he has a 12 o'clock press conference. And if he's not going to be doing it or if he's fired, then they've got to do something before. They've got to announce something before that. So take that
which tells me if they haven't announced anything today, they're getting everything else set up for the next 12 hours on how they're going to handle that to move forward.
That because you got to understand there's about 20, 23, 25, roughly 25 commitments if my memory's serving me, if my math is right. Mm-hmm. And they're letting these kids know. There's about 25 I'm talking about 2024, 2025, and 2026. There's roughly about 26 kids committed. It's 25 or 26. So they're letting them know. They're contacting some people. They don't want a kid like that to read it. Have to read it on Twitter or morning. Hogville or somewhere they want it here in the U of A.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So everybody Otis, I'm going to get you out of here. We've been spinning our wheels now long enough on this, and I think that everybody kind of can read the tea leaves and what we've been talking about today and what's been put on social media. I know that your phone, when I called you this morning, my phone was starting to already blow up, and I had a feeling that yours might have already been that way. That's why I wanted to talk to you. So.
The only reason it hadn't is because when I went out chasing a recruit, I forgot my phone. I left it at the house, so I didn't have my phone with me. So that was a little bit before that. But when I got home, though, after I got home, it all started. But yeah, I did. I'm not gonna lie. I was in a hurry this morning, and I knew I was wasting my time going to catch a recruit. That this was not going to work, but I got a story. That's my job, and it's my time I wasted, nobody else's. So, and I'm getting.
You're still the best at it, though.
I went and did my job, man. I went and did my job. So,
yep.
But anyway, even felt good about myself, Jason. I was in line after I left, saw the recruit before I got home. I went to the store. A little old lady was buying her groceries. She only had a few items. It wasn't like a big cart. Had milk, soup, and a couple other items. And it denied her card. I don't know if it was a credit or debit card. It denied it. And they were putting it back. And I told them, don't put it back. Put it in a sack, give it to her, and put it on my tab. So I paid for her groceries. And little old lady, I felt sorry for her. She couldn't thank me. I said, you don't have to thank me. I said, people have helped me at times for various things. If I can help somebody, like I said, I'm not crying because it wasn't a big deal. It was milk and a gallon of milk and some So I don't even know how much it was. I had two Red Bulls. I had 2 Red Bulls, and so whatever the Red Bulls was plus that's what it came to.
You were replenishing is what you were doing.
But I was right behind her, and I saw it decline her card, and she was apologizing to the manager, or not the manager, but the clerk. And I said, "No need for that.
You know,
feel better about yourself when you do something like that, man."
Oh yeah, I want to put this out here, and thank you for bringing this up because it really didn't resonate with me at first, but it started to. Everybody remember, first off, foremost, look out for your fellow neighbors. Treat everybody with kindness. It's the holiday season, and everybody's stressed. Always be out and look out, and that making sure you're not trying to unintentionally piss someone off or intentionally piss someone off. It's the holiday season, and if you have the chance to pay it forward, and if you do, that's great. But just remember this. Sports is not life. Sports is just an activity, and it's to help us take our minds off of what we have going on each and every day. So no cannibalism on hogville.net, no cannibalism on the Facebook, the Twitter, anything like that. We're all spinning our wheels with you guys right now, just trying to grasp what's going on and kind of holding it together. But just remember that sports is not everything, and that you got to treat people with kindness, especially this time of the year with the holidays, because we have folks that we love to see, and there's folks that we might not like to see a little bit, in that, it's always kind of a thorn in the side, but you still do it anyway. It's family. And so always make sure to get out there and, like I said, treat people with kindness. All right.
Yeah, it pays. I have to take a lesson that every once in a while myself on social media. I go off on people, but it's just, but there's more to life than sports, man. And I mean, there's no, it's not the end of the world. There'll be a new coach at Arkansas, and there will be recruits. It may be different recruits than we're normally seeing now. There will be changes are coming, and some long days and nights for me are coming, and I know it. So I feel like the last 2 months I have worked my ass off, and now it's all going down the drain for nothing on recruiting. So that's the way the ball rolls. So
it is. Well, Otis, man, I'm going to get you out of here. Everybody, I want to thank you for jumping on today with us. Again, we had over 100 people live, had over 125 actually.
Thank everybody that came on too. Every single one of you guys, appreciate it, and much appreciated. I promise you. And
all the information that Otis puts out, we put out, it's factual, it's 100% accurate, and we're not going to sit there and give you guys a runaround. We're not going to also speculate. Whenever it happens, we will give you the honest to God truth of what happens, and you guys will know right when we find out too as well. All right.
I just want to be clear. I know, because I do know I got contacted by somebody. Now, I do recruiting, and I got contacted by somebody who'd been notified of the coaching change, and that's how I know it. So that's where it's not rumor. It's not speculation. It's, I've heard that all day, and there's not a 4:00 press conference. I don't know who put that out, and this will be announced at some point.
It will. All right. Well, for Otis Kirk, myself, Jason Patterson, I want to thank you guys for jumping on here today with the Razorback Football Report with Otis Kirk, and take care.
Tired of serving up the same old tasteless victuals to your family? Step up your grill game with new seasonings from Cloy's Southern Eats. Based off famous Southern recipes, our seasonings will add what's been missing to your family's feast. Add it to steak, chicken, shrimp, you name it. Serving up these fixings is going to make you the hero at home. So head on over to CloysSouthernEats.com and order yours today. Come get you some.